This next group of lip glosses and lip oils ideally would be going with their shade of lipsticks in the future, but right now I need to go through them, and then I have some that I'm trying to replace. So this first one is an unhinged one. It's a Too Faced Sweet Peach in the shade Papa Don't Peach. So this one is old. I really like the shade, so I'm gonna try to see if I can replace it. But I'm not 100% sure yet. I kind of want to compare it to these newer NYX Butter Glosses. This next one is a Morphe Madison Beer lip gloss. I really liked this lip gloss, so I'm gonna also try to see about mayhaps getting a duplicate. Same with this Marc Jacobs one. This is in the shade Skin Deep. I don't think it's going to focus. I really love this. I got this right before they stopped selling their makeup, and it still smells the same and works the same. It's such a beautiful cool tone pink nude color. If you know of a color that is like that, please let me know. This next one is in the shade Skin Deep, I believe, or no, Sugar Sugar. I think the other. Sorry. This is in the shade Sugar Sugar. I got it as a freebie. I really love using it as a topper, but I don't think that it will necessarily be a replacement. I kind of have to swatch it alongside the other ones, and I'm not afraid of using it for now. Next is this Maybelline Lifter Gloss in the shade Moon. I love this gloss. So these next two glosses are part of my project pan. As you can see, not much has been used on these in the shade Pillow Talk and Refresh Rose. I probably want to go ahead and get rid of this, so I, will continue to use it more. And then as far as this one goes, I don't think that I would repurchase it, but I'm going to use it while it's still new. The next thing is the Too Faced Hangover Pillow Balm in the shade Coca Kiss. This is just something that I have usually to just moisturize my lips. I really, really love these for moisturizing, but I don't like the colored ones as much. This was my favorite one. They discontinued this, but I have a backup mini here, so I am going to use it once the other ones run out. Yeah, I'm kind of curious to know if the new Too Faced glosses are just as moisturizing, but yeah. These two are part of my project pan. They are in the shade Strawberry Kiss and Vanilla Kiss. And as you can see, I'm getting through them. I've been trying not to use them like a crazy person, but now that I've gotten newer glosses and newer lip products, I should be using these up. Next is this e.l.f. Lip gloss in the shade Rose Envy. From what I've used so far, I really, really love this shade. And then this next one is this NYX Fat Oil Lip Drip in the shade Chillin' Like a Villain. This one looks to be cool tone nudie, so I think I'm pretty much gonna like it. As far as the formula goes, it's lip gloss, not a lip oil. Then I also got this free one in the shade My Main. It's just a clear one. I promise that is just from staining from my lipsticks because they are brand new. This next one is a Clinique lip gloss in the shade Air Kiss. I got this as a freebie. I really do like it. I do have some use on it here. I use it as a topper with my Primrose Revlon lipstick, and I really like it for that. This next one is unhinged. It is the NYX Intense Butter Gloss in the shade Tres Leches, and I really love this shade. I want to try to see if I can find a replacement for it, which is why I still have it. So I'm just going to go over these NYX Butter Glosses real quick. This one's in the shade Tiramisu, Fortune Cookie, Sugar High, Madeline, Bit of Honey, Creme Brulee. Then this last one is in Angel Food Cake. So for now, this is the best way that I'm able to show all my eyeshadow palettes. I have so many. I'm sorry that they're all kind of like stacked on top of each other. I really wish that I could just show one nice big overview, but this is the best we're gonna get for now. I don't think I mentioned when I was showing everything, but I have a total of around 48 eyeshadow palettes. It's probably less than that or more depending on how you look at it, because I do have a lot of palettes depotted. So some of them I didn't really count as like singles. I counted it more as palettes for the sake of inventory. But let's go ahead and start with my larger palettes. So the first one I have is the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Cremated palette, and I do like this palette. There are shades in here that I really, really like. I do think that some of them are similar. I also feel like this eyeshadow formula is different from his other ones, so I don't like this one as much, but I still like it, so I'm gonna hold on to that one. Next is this Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette, and I love this palette. I feel like you can't really tell how much use I have gotten out of it, but I have gotten a lot of use out of this guy, and everything still works fine. I am not going to be getting rid of that. The next thing here is the Morphe Dare to Create 39A. So I feel like there was so much shit talking on this palette, but I love this palette so much. I even kept the little clear thing so that I can keep the names of them, because like in my imagination I thought I was gonna like be making tutorials and stuff. There are some shades in here that I absolutely love, so I am going to be holding on to that one. Next is a super unhinged, slightly unhinged one. So this is the Manny NUA and Makeup Geek collab. This shade right here is so beautiful. It's still so soft and buttery. The shades are basically the same. I know that looks extreme, that hard pan looks extreme, but I promise that when I first got this palette, this shade was always like hard press. I don't know if it was like that for everyone, to be honest. Or if I just got a bad one, I don't know. But I want to try to see if like maybe I don't need this one anymore, but I do remember liking this red shade. Next, this is part of the Lime Crime Venus 2. I'm pretty sure I did count it as a palette. I got rid of some of the shades just because they were breaking apart. I didn't like them. I can't remember. But anyway, I got rid of some. These two are from a Juvia's eyeshadow palette that I was talking about before, and these are two of the three that survived. They're very pretty, so I want to hold on to those. Those are new as well. Next is my Jeffree Star Jawbreaker. This is one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes of all time. I really, really love this thing, and I love having it in my collection. And then this one is slightly newer, or yeah, it's newer. It's the Morphe X Abby Roberts eyeshadow palette, and I have used this a few times. As you can see, I've mostly used that shade there for my so I really still need to play with it more. I haven't really touched it all that much because of decision fatigue. These are the next section of larger palettes. So this is actually the Blood Sugar palette depotted. I just didn't want the bulky packaging anymore, and I wound up putting it in here. Next, I have a matte palette, so it has different types of matte eyeshadows in here. They're pretty much all Jeffree Star except for that one Lime Crime one right there. And then I have a shimmer palette that have Jeffree Star. They have KVD and this very special shade to me. Maybe someday I'll talk about that, but I won't get into it too much because I don't want to keep yapping. But next is this giant palette. I really hate this stupid palette. But anyway, it works for now to contain my items, but this has miscellaneous of Naked Basics, Naked 3, and Naked 2. I've just kind of all grouped them in here. This is a backup of one of the Jeffree Star eyeshadows. I'm not sure if I'm going to declutter it or not because I just happened to get an extra shade with that whole conspiracy palette duo that we got, where we got an extra shade in the beginning. This is from an e.l.f. eyeshadow palette. I really love these taupe colors, so I've hung on to them. This is from the Wet n Wild. I can't remember what the exact name of this palette was, but I've held on to this because when I was very pavo, I love this eyeshadow palette. There's some very pretty shades in here, and they still work good. They still are good. So I'm gonna hold on to those, and maybe I'll do a few looks before I declutter, but I can't promise I'm gonna declutter. Next are these eyeshadows. So I'm not gonna lie, these are from the Lorac Pro palette here. These are some miscellaneous Lancome ones. These are from the Too Faced Bon Bon palette, and then these are from the Modern Renaissance palette, and these are a mixture of Urban Decay and Makeup Geek. I'm not going to go through them individually, and these are going to be part of my individual shadows when we go into those, but I'm just going to show them here now since I have them there. Oh, and that little tiny one is from a KVD eyeshadow palette that I really, really loved. And this was, whoop, and I just stabbed into it. This was my favorite shade out of them. I still really love that shade. Hopefully I have something in my collection that matches it because I clearly need to go through my eyeshadow collection here. Lastly is this Pink Religion palette. I remember I wanted this so badly, and I wound up getting it, and I just haven't really been using it all that much. That's the shade that I use the most, so I don't want to declutter it though. I want to see if I can get use out of that one. This next section of eyeshadow palettes are like my neutral, natural, nude type of eyeshadow colors. So starting off with the Gemini palette, I really love this palette. I feel like you can't really tell how much I've used it. I remember that there were some people that were saying that theirs were like off or like weird or going bad. That never happened with mine. I love this palette. Next is this KVD Serpentina palette. I'm not gonna lie, I recently purchased this, I think last year. It was in complete new condition. If you see any kind of swatching or anything like that, it's because I did that. I honestly got it just because of this blood milk shade here. I was kind of trying to see and looking out to see if there was like another red like it, and it was just so highly raved by a YouTuber that I used to really enjoy watching, named Drac Makins. And when I saw that this was so cheap and it was brand new, I wound up getting it. Next is this Anastasia Beverly Hills Sultry palette. I'd say out of all the palettes that she has had, I like this one the best, yet I have it so underloved, but I definitely love this. It's still awesome, and I still want to get use out of this guy. And you guys have seen this Graveyard Girl palette so many times, but here it is again for the shadows. Next, I have this Divinity palette by Strobe Cosmetics. I have no idea if they're even still a thing or not, to be honest with you. I haven't really played with this as much as I have wanted to. I really like these two shades. I honestly mainly purchased it for these two shades, maybe that gray. So I really need to play with this palette. Next is this Beautiful in Barcelona BH Cosmetics palette. I also got this palette for super, super cheap. As you can see, it is brand new, but I pretty much wound up getting this palette for that red. I'm also pretty curious about like that dusty taupey color up there. Next is my Venus Lime Crime palette. I honestly have given this palette more love than I have given the Blood Sugar palette. I had this palette for longer and I've used it, you know, just more often. I really love this palette. I'm not ready to get rid of it. I love the shades inside of it and still works fine for me. Next is this Weirdo palette. I'm pretty sure I wound up getting this to try to reach like the free shipping amount, or something like that. I can't remember, but I remember that I wasn't like 100% sure on getting this palette, and low-key I have barely touched it. So hopefully I get more use out of this palette in the near future, but not much to say on this one right now. Next one is this ColourPop Star Wars The Mandalorian palette, and this palette I really, really love. I feel like you can't really tell how much I've used it, but I do like this palette a lot and I need to get more use out of it. Next is the e.l.f. Mad for Matte palette. I'm really glad I got this before they stopped selling it. Actually, I think they might still sell this one. It might just go in and out. I'm not really sure. But these eyeshadows are actually really nice and soft and buttery and pigmented. Unfortunately, I have not been giving them love. I just feel like my brain just doesn't gravitate towards these, but I'm going to do some sort of project or something so that I give every single one of these palettes love at some point. And this one is the Mad for Matte in Holy Smokes. This one is probably even more cool tone and has like those blues and those grays in there. And then lastly is this e.l.f. Everyday Smoky. So those are those right there. Next is the Urban Decay Naked 2 Basics palette. I really like Urban Decay eyeshadows. They just work so well for me, and I really love all of the Naked ones. I really wish I still had my original Naked palette. I wish I didn't sell that guy because when it came back out, it is not the same. This is a Lancome eyeshadow palette mini that I actually have the full size of, but the full size is part of like my daily makeup palette that is like a Franken palette. This is like the mini. I wound up putting the mini aside. I don't really know my logic there, but that's what I did. So here's one of them. Next is this Rimmel London Glam Eye Smoky Noir palette. This is my backup ish. I only really have the black one in my current face palette right now. So this is like a backup for when that one runs out. I know there's one of these grays, maybe two in here that I like, but there's one that I don't like from what I remember. And then lastly is this Faint and Sickly palette. So I follow these girls that are really singers on TikTok, and I guess they released an eyeshadow palette because they have like a certain aesthetic of looking like sick but dolly but infected. And I guess they released a palette inspired by the colors that they reach for the most. Okay, so we're finally at the end of the eyeshadow palettes. These are my colorful ones. So this is the BH Cosmetics Take Me Back to Brazil. I remember this was one of the ones that I tried to declutter, but I couldn't get rid of it, forced myself to use it, and I wound up really liking this palette. There's some really special shades in here. I feel like even these shades down here are special, so I'm going to continue to use it. Next is this ColourPop Fade into Hue palette. I got this year. I honestly was just afraid that I was being left out of something because there are some very light pastels in here that I don't actually have like in here. I know it's going to sound crazy, but I know that I don't. So I wound up getting this, and so far I'm not like too blown away by this, especially when I'm comparing it to the quality of like Jawbreaker. But I also want to give myself a good go with this because I do understand that, you know, this is different quality, but at the same time, when I compare these to like those ColourPop palettes down there, I don't know, but it is kind of a regretful purchase for me. But anyway, next is this Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde palette, and oh my gosh, guys, I remember I was like going back and forth with this palette on purchasing it or not, and then I wound up finding it on sale, and I got it right when it was like on sale, and I had the 20% off at Sephora, so I got a pretty good deal on this guy, and I do have good use out of it. It's just one of those where like I find myself, I want to declutter, but there's shades in here that I really like. It's so odd, but anyway. Next is this e.l.f. X J Kissa To The Rescue palette. I love this palette. I feel like you can't tell my use out of it, but I promise I've used it a few times. I definitely haven't used every single shade in here. And like I said, I like it, and I also want to try to get use out of my palette, so I'm gonna try to figure something out. If you know of anything where like I potentially can use every single palette, like some sort of challenge, please let me know, but I'll definitely look into it myself. Next is this BH Cosmetics La Vide and Prince palette. I'm so sorry if I'm saying this wrong. I love this eyeshadow palette. I literally swatched that Brio the other day and it's still so soft and buttery, but I have barely given this any love, even though I say I love it, so I need to get to it with this one. Next is this Star Wars Mandalorian The Child palette. I actually wound up repurchasing this. It's so crazy that I did this because I don't really like golds, but like I liked this gold for certain looks when I was using this palette doing different looks, and I wound up being able to give the other one away, so that was a good thing. But anyway, I really love this palette. It's really crazy that this palette has given me some looks that I just have really adored. Next thing is this Orange You Glad by ColourPop. So this came broken to me like this, but I had told myself I was gonna repurchase it or complain or something, and I just never did because the shadows are just fine. Nothing has happened. They haven't dried out. That was my biggest concern. So I just kind of held on to this like slightly broken palette. I really love the shades in here. Next is this ColourPop palette in Blue Moon. So I remember that I really was curious about the Blue Blood palette, and I almost got that before I got the Blood Sugar palette. And I'm so happy that I didn't, because as you can see, I don't get that much use out of this one, but I do love the shades in here. Next is the ColourPop Mint to Be palette, and I'm gonna keep saying that I love stuff, so I should probably stop, but I do appreciate the colors in here. I need to use it more. Next is the ColourPop Lilac You A Lot palette. It's actually kind of crazy how much I have wound up using this palette. I wound up losing that cloud shade in there, but I didn't really find it too impressive, so I just, you know, I had it in a single container for a while, but then I wound up getting rid of it. Next is this Jeffree Star Mini Breaker palette, and I honestly haven't given this enough love, and I'm very curious about it, especially this gray brown shade down here, so I need to get to it with that one. Next one is this Profusion Spectrum palette. I'm pretty sure this is the Spectrum, that's the name of the palette, but anyway, you'll be able to tell by the colors in store. But it's so crazy how much use I've gotten out of this. You can't really tell, but actually this shade in particular is the only shade like it in my collection, which sounds insane, but it's true. I really like this palette. It's an affordable, colorful palette. It does lack pigment, but it is buildable, so I work with it and I really like it. Last one here is this e.l.f. Mad for Matte in Jewel Pop, and this one I really haven't given love to also, but I do want to try out like that gray brown in there, these colors here as well, maybe even that green. Hopefully I do that soon. And then lastly is this Kimchi Cheek Diamond Jewel Collection palette. So I had my eye on this for the longest time. I'm really sad that I accidentally dropped it, and I just have a little bit of that there left. But I didn't allow myself to repurchase it because, you know, I want to try my hardest to use this first. Okay, so we are on to the single shadows now. I currently have around 31, but like I said before, it's just depends on how you're looking at my collection. I probably have more than that. As far as my goal with this, I don't really have a goal. All I know is that there's some single shadows in here that I absolutely adore. They're not anywhere close to being done, so I definitely know that I'm just not buying any more single shadows. So with that being said, I kind of want to start off over here because I was mistaken in my shimmer palette, my Z palette. I thought that it was this KVD Electric Warrior one, but it was actually a sugar pill. I believe it's called Acid Berry. So this is Electric Warrior. And then I have my single ColourPop Super Shock Shadows. This one is in the shade Cuteologist. I remember that I wanted this shade so badly. I bought it from Ulta first, and the one that they gave me was like dried out and just old. I returned it. I wound up ordering this from ColourPop's website when it finally got back in stock, and yet here I am not giving it love, so I really want to give that love as soon as I can. Next is this ColourPop in Ritz, and I love this shade. I love it so much. I remember I loved it so much I wanted to get a backup, but every time that I was looking at shades online and hearing people talking about it, it looks like they did change the color. So I'm happy that I have this one and I need to get use out of it. Next is the shade Frog. I know this one is pretty. I've used it a few times, but I need to use it more. Next is the shade Bay. I really love this eyeshadow. It's so gorgeous on the lids. I need to give it more love. This next one is in the shade Fruit Punch. I honestly might wind up decluttering it. I just feel kind of bad because I don't know. I just feel bad, but I definitely have other greens that I love, like the Electric Warrior, that I just don't know if I'm ever going to reach for this, but we'll see. Next is this Anonymous duo eyeshadow that I count as one that I got from Walgreens, and I adore these colors. The main one that I love is this purple one. I used it all the time when I would cosplay my Femme Beetlejuice, and I hope to bring that back sometime soon. So I definitely will be using that color then. The next thing that I have here is this ColourPop eyeshadow in the shade Icon, I believe. The next thing is this Urban Decay single shadow in the shade Midnight Cowboy. I remember I wanted this shade so badly, and yet here I am not using it, so I need to get into using that. The next thing is this KVD Thunderstruck eyeshadow, and I remember I love the shimmer color so much. I count it as a single shadow because I don't really use it as a highlight. I use it more as a shadow, but I need to get more love into that, or out of that. Next is the MAC Nylon. I really love this shade. I think it's so beautiful. I think that I have a Jeffree Star there's a color in the Jeffree Star Jawbreaker that is identical to this color, and it is better than this color, but I hold on to this color because I do like it and I still want to get use out of it, even though it's not as good. I know it looks weird and ugly and like it has hard pan, but it doesn't. It's always looked like this. Next is this single white shimmer from that Juvia's Place palette that I had mentioned that I tried to depot. And then next is this Makeup Geek Preppy eyeshadow. It's just such a beautiful neutral yellowy brownie shade that I like. And then next is this Danessa Myricks Color Fix Max in the shade, it's the white one. I don't know what shade name it is, but I have used this a few times and I do like it, but I don't know actually if I would ever repurchase it again. I'm just not using it enough at this point to be able to say that I do, but I have liked using it for creative looks. Next is the About Face liquid eyeshadow in the shade Scream of Consciousness. So I have not really used this shade, I'm embarrassed to say. It's such a beautiful red color, but I just haven't gravitated towards it, so I need to get this into my view so that I start using it. That wasn't supposed to be in there. We're just going to ignore that. Next is this Moondust eyeshadow in the shade Space Cowboy. I love this eyeshadow. I'm not sure how well you can see, but it is sort of warm tone there. And even though I don't like warm tones, it just works out for me. There's a shade about this. There's something about this. I don't know if it's the shimmer or something, but it just works so well with my skin tone. And as you can see, the glitters in here are super cool tone silvery, so it's just, I really love it. I use it all the time. Next is the Stila Smoky Storm glitter shadow. So this is somehow still alive, which I'm so grateful for because this is actually my favorite shade. And honestly, once it goes dry, I might even try to put some like Inglot drops in there. That's how much I love it. But I haven't been getting the use out of it that I wish that I would, because I don't know why I'm like saving it for some sort of special occasion and I don't wind up using it. Next is this e.l.f. glitter shadow in the shade Disco Queen. I'm very sad that e.l.f. got rid of this line of shadows. I feel like now they only have the metallic ones. I could be wrong, but they had a bunch of other shades that I was wanting to try. But we're also here with my giant ass makeup collection, so I didn't really need them. But anyway, I love this. This is my second one that I purchased because I emptied out the other one. And then lastly is this Kimchi Cheek Pearls Gone Wild. Technically a highlighter, but I use it as a shadow topper. I really love this. As you can see, it's well loved even though it's big. I cannot recommend this enough. So we are finally at the end. This is my miscellaneous makeup. But before we get into it, I just want to mention this NYX, the brow glue, because I do count it as part of my eyebrow gels. I just for some reason forgot to put that in there. So I just wanted to mention that real quick. Next here is my miscellaneous makeup, like I said. I currently have 5 and my goal is to have 3. I want to have a makeup mixing liquid. I want to have an eyeshadow primer, and I want to have one of these freckle stamps. So first thing are these two Smashbox eyeshadow primers. This has been my eyeshadow primer go-to for years. I'm very sad to see that they have reformulated and that it's in this ugly bottle, but I'm working my way through this since it still works and it's still good. And then I will move on to this one. The next one is this NYX glitter primer. So this has a shelf life of 6 months, and that kind of scares me. So that's why I'm just kind of like about the whole repurchase thing, because so far so good, but I'm just like not using it enough. So I don't know. I do kind of need it for my glitters, but for now it's not part of the goals. Next is this Inglot Duraline, and I love this thing so far from the very little that I have used it, but I plan to use it more as I'm using my collection more here. And then the last thing is this Freck XL Original Freckle, I guess it's like a liquid. So I first wound up getting this mini as a freebie, and I really liked it. There's still a lot in here. I wound up getting a backup when it was on sale. So that's how I have these two. So we have reached the end. I just wanted to have something on screen, so I thought I'd have my like daily use palette here. I have a total number of 384 makeup products. Holy cow, that is an insane number. I definitely do not want to have that amount going forward unless something changes. I want to stay right at that number as far as like me getting free makeup or something like that. But aside from that, I want to downsize my collection. I want to really get to know my collection. And yeah, as you can see here from like my daily makeup palette, there's certain shades that I like to specifically have at hand at all times. And so in all reality, with the way that things have been going for me, it doesn't make sense for me to have this huge collection anymore. I have an Excel spreadsheet now of a list of all my items, and I plan to track every single time that I use each thing, so that I can hopefully by the end of next year, I have used every single product at least once, and then I have a better idea of like things that I want to get rid of. I might film the declutter on my blushes and stuff like that. I might not, but I will come back to film an updated makeup collection video. The last thing is, again, thank you for spending time with me, and if you would like to see other things in my collection, I would love to do that because I did create lists for that as well. I should be posting my Project Pan 2026 very, very soon. I've just decided that I want to go ahead and just film it, and I want to, I mean, I would be getting a head start on those products anyway, but I guess I just want to have a video of like my starting point with everything. So stay tuned for that. Let me know if there's anything else you want to see from me. Thank you so much.